Let me begin with a simple but important question. Have you found yourself checking your bank account a little more often this month, wondering if your Social Security payment is about to look different, or wondering if you might be part of the group everyone seems to be talking about? Perhaps you've been listening to conversations at the senior center, or reading comments online, or hearing from family members who are asking questions you're not quite sure how to answer. If so, you are not alone. Across the country, millions of seniors are hearing about January payments, a specific date being mentioned again and again, and talk of slightly higher checks. It's natural to pause and ask yourself, does this apply to me, or am I missing something? Should I be doing something differently this month? Is there paperwork I haven't filled out? Did I miss a deadline or an announcement? Before any worry has a chance to settle in, before you spend another minute feeling uncertain or anxious, let me gently reassure you. There is no race. There is no first come, first served list. There is no special action you need to take. There is no form to fill out, no phone call to make, no website to visit, and most importantly, nothing is wrong if your payment doesn't arrive on the exact date someone else mentioned. Your payment schedule is individualized, predictable, and exactly as it should be. My name is Sarah, and for many years, I've spent time listening to seniors just like you. I've sat at kitchen tables with cups of coffee going cold, heard genuine concerns about monthly budgets, and answered the same questions that may be on your mind right now. I've listened to the worry in people's voices when they're not sure if their payment is coming, and I've seen the relief when they finally understand how the system works. What I've learned is this, and I believe this deeply. Most financial stress doesn't come from a lack of money. It comes from uncertainty, from not knowing what's happening, why something feels different, or whether you need to take action. When we don't understand how a system works, we fill in the blanks with worry, and that worry, as you know, can feel heavier than any actual problem. Today, my goal is to remove that uncertainty completely. We're going to calmly and clearly walk through what's really happening with Social Security payments in January, what the January 14 date actually means, and why it's getting so much attention, who it applies to and who it doesn't, why many checks look a little higher this month, what causes that increase, and what you truly need to do to receive it. For most people, the answer to that last part is wonderfully simple. Nothing at all. Your payment is automatic, your increase is automatic, and the system is working exactly as designed. By the time we're finished here today, you should feel steady, informed, and confident that your payment is arriving exactly the way it's supposed to. You'll understand your payment date, you'll know what to expect in your account, and you'll have the peace of mind that comes from knowing you haven't missed anything important. So let's begin. Let's start by clearing up one of the biggest sources of confusion right away, because this is where so much unnecessary worry begins, and it spreads quickly through communities, online forums, and well-meaning conversations. You may have heard people talking about a first wave of Social Security payments. You might have seen it in an article headline, heard it from a neighbor, or read it in a comment section somewhere. And when you hear language like that, it's easy to think it means something official, something important, maybe even something urgent. I want you to know something very important, and I want to be completely clear about this. First wave is not an official term. It's not language used by the Social Security Administration in any of their communications. You won't find it in a letter from Social Security, you won't find it in an official notice, and you won't find it on the SSA.gov website. It's simply a phrase that people use, often in articles or videos, to describe the first scheduled payment date of the month for certain recipients. That's all it means. Nothing more, nothing less. It does not mean priority. It does not mean those recipients are more important or have been moved to the front of the line. It does not mean a bonus or an extra payment, and it absolutely does not mean a larger benefit. The timing of your payment has absolutely nothing to do with how much money you receive. Let me repeat that because it's crucial. When your payment arrives has no connection whatsoever to how much you get. Everyone who is eligible for Social Security benefits receives the same percentage cost of living adjustment. The dollar amount looks different from person to person only because everyone's base benefit is different. Your base benefit depends on your work history, your earnings over the years, and when you chose to start receiving benefits. So, if your payment arrives on January 14th, that doesn't mean you're getting more than someone whose payment arrives on January 21st or January 28th. And if your payment arrives on a different date, you are not missing out on anything. You're not getting less money. You're not being penalized. You're simply on a different schedule. And that schedule was set long ago based on factors we'll discuss in just a moment. Once you understand this fundamental truth, once you really internalize that payment timing and payment amount are completely separate things, a lot of the stress simply falls away. You stop comparing your date to someone else's date and wondering if something's wrong. You stop worrying that you're somehow behind or that you need to catch up. The system is fair, the system is consistent, and the system treats everyone according to the same rules. Now, let's talk about how Social Security payment scheduling actually works. Because once you understand the system, everything else starts to make sense. The confusion disappears, the anxiety eases, and you can look at your calendar with confidence instead of worry. Social Security does not send out all payments on the same day, and there's a very good reason for that. If tens of millions of payments all hit bank accounts on the exact same day, it would overwhelm the banking system. Processing would slow down. Errors would increase. Some payments might be delayed simply because of the sheer volume. It would create chaos instead of reliability. Instead, payments are intentionally spread out across the month in a steady, predictable, organized way. This ensures that banks can process deposits smoothly, that any issues can be addressed quickly, and that the system runs efficiently month after month, year after year. Your specific payment date is determined by two things, and only two things. First, the day of the month you were born, and second, whether you started receiving Social Security benefits before or after May of 1997. That's it. Those are the only factors that matter. Once your payment date is set based on these two factors, it stays the same month after month, year after year, for as long as you receive benefits. It doesn't change based on how much you receive. It doesn't change based on where you live. It doesn't change based on your age now or any other circumstance. That's why so many people can say with confidence, my check always comes on the second Wednesday, or mine always comes on the third Wednesday of the month. They've learned their schedule, they know their pattern, and they can plan their monthly budget around that reliable date. The schedule is designed to be dependable, and for the vast majority of recipients, it absolutely is. Once you know your date, you can count on it. Now let's focus specifically on January and break down exactly who gets paid when. There are four main Social Security payment dates in January, and every recipient falls into one of these four groups. No exceptions, no special cases that fall outside these categories. The first group is paid on January 3rd. This is the earliest payment date of the month, and it includes two specific categories of people. First, it includes people who started receiving Social Security benefits before May of 1997. This is sometimes called the legacy group. If you've been receiving benefits for many years, since the 1990s or earlier, you're in this group. Your payment date doesn't depend on your birth date. It's always the third day of the month or the first business day after the third if the third falls on a weekend or holiday. Second, it includes people who receive both Social Security retirement or disability benefits and supplemental security income, or SSI. These individuals are paid early in the month to ensure their SSI payment, which comes at the beginning of the month, and their Social Security payment don't create confusion or gaps in income. If you're in this group, your January payment already arrived by the time you're watching or reading this. It came just like it does every year, on the same reliable schedule. If you received your payment on or around January 3rd, you can skip ahead because the rest of this information about January 14th, 21st, and 28th doesn't apply to your situation. The second group is paid on January 14th, and this is the group people are talking about the most right now. This is where most of the attention is focused, and it's the date you're probably hearing mentioned again and again. To be in this group, two things must be true at the same time. First, your birthday, the day of the month you were born, must fall between the 1st and the 10th of any month. Doesn't matter which month you were born, January, June, November. It only matters that the day is somewhere between the 1st and the 10th. And second, you must have started receiving Social Security benefits after May of 1997. If you started receiving benefits recently, within the last 20 years or so, and you were born between the 1st and 10th of the month, then yes, January 14th is your scheduled payment date. If both of those things apply to you, you can expect your payment to arrive on January 14th, which is the second Wednesday of the month. You don't need to do anything to make that happen. You don't need to confirm your information or update anything. The payment will arrive automatically, just as it has every month before. The third group is paid on January 21st, which is the third Wednesday of the month. This group includes people who meet two criteria. First, you were born between the 11th and the 20th of the month. Again, any month, what matters is just the day number. And second, you started receiving Social Security benefits after May of 1997. If both of those describe you, your payment is scheduled for January 21st, not January 14th, not January 28th, January 21st, and that's exactly when it should arrive on schedule. Just like every other month, the fourth and final group is paid on January 28th, which is the fourth Wednesday of the month. This group includes people born between the 21st and the 31st of the month who also started receiving benefits after May of 1997. If you were born on the 25th, for example, or the 30th, and you've been receiving benefits since sometime after 1997, your payment comes on the fourth Wednesday. In January, that's the 28th. That's the entire schedule. 4 dates, 4 groups, no overlap, no favoritism, no mystery. Everyone fits neatly into one of these categories based on clear, simple rules that have been in place for many years. If January 14th comes and goes and you don't see a deposit, that usually means you belong to one of the other groups. Not that something went wrong with your payment. It's not missing. It's not delayed. It's simply scheduled for a different date based on your birth date and when you started receiving benefits. Now, let's talk about why so many people are noticing that their January check is slightly higher than it was in December. This is the other big topic generating conversation and questions right now. This increase comes from the annual cost of living adjustment, often called COLA, which stands for Cost of Living Adjustment. You may have received a notice about this in the mail late last year, probably in November or December. That notice explained the percentage increase and estimated how it would affect your specific benefit. The purpose of the COLA is not to give you a bonus or a raise in the traditional sense. It's not a reward for anything, and it's not extra money on top of what you're owed. Its job is to help your benefit keep up with rising everyday costs, things like food at the grocery store, utilities like electricity and heating, gasoline if you drive, and health care expenses. The way it works is this. Each year, the Social Security Administration looks at something called the Consumer Price Index, which measures how much prices have gone up for typical goods and services. If prices have increased, Social Security adjusts benefits upward by a corresponding percentage so that your purchasing power stays roughly the same. For this year, 2025, the adjustment is 2.5%. That percentage applies to everyone who receives Social Security benefits, whether you receive retirement benefits, disability benefits, or survivor benefits. Everyone gets the same percentage increase applied to their individual benefit amount. But here's what's important to understand. Because everyone's benefit amount is different to begin with, the dollar increase looks different from person to person. 2 people can both receive a 2.5% increase and see very different dollar amounts added to their checks. For example, if your benefit was around $1,500 per month before the adjustment, a 2.5% increase might mean about $37 to $38 more each month. If your benefit was closer to $2,000 per month, the increase might be around $50. If your benefit was $2,500, you might see an increase of about $62 or $63 over the course of a full year. These monthly increases add up. An extra $40 per month becomes $480 over the year. An extra $50 per month becomes $600. That's real money that can help with rising costs. It's helpful to think of the COLA as a stabilizer. It's designed to help you maintain your purchasing power, to help ensure that your benefit buys roughly the same amount of goods and services this year as it did last year. It's not designed to dramatically change your lifestyle or suddenly make everything easier financially. When you view it this way, with realistic expectations, the increase makes sense and feels more meaningful. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, helping you keep pace with inflation and the rising cost of living. Now, there's another important piece that often causes confusion, and I want to address it directly because I hear questions about this all the time. It's the difference between your gross benefit, the total amount you're entitled to, and the net amount that actually lands in your bank account. These two numbers are often different, and understanding why can prevent a lot of unnecessary worry. Many seniors are enrolled in Medicare Part B, which covers doctor visits, outpatient care, and other medical services, and the monthly premium for that coverage is usually deducted directly from your Social Security payment. This is done automatically for convenience, so you don't have to remember to make a separate payment each month or worry about missing a deadline. For this year, 2025, the standard Medicare Part B premium is $185 per month. That amount comes out of your Social Security benefit before the deposit reaches your bank account. It's taken out first, automatically every single month. So even if your gross benefit increased because of the COLA, even if on paper your benefit went up by $40 or $50, the net increase you actually see deposited might look smaller once the Medicare premium is deducted. In some cases, if the Medicare premium increased from last year, you might see only a small net increase, or in rare cases, your net payment might stay about the same, or even decrease slightly if your benefit is relatively small and the Medicare premium took a bigger bite. This doesn't mean Social Security made a mistake. It doesn't mean you were shortchanged or that something went wrong with your COLA increase. It simply means the Medicare premium is being collected the same way it always has, and you're seeing the net amount after that deduction. If you ever want to see exactly how your payment breaks down, including your gross benefit amount, all deductions like Medicare premiums and possibly taxes if you have them withheld, and your final net amount, you can review this information through your My Social Security account online at ssa.gov. You can also find it on your annual Social Security statement or the benefit notice you received late last year. Understanding this breakdown can help you see exactly where your money is going and confirm that everything is being calculated correctly. Now let's talk very clearly about who will not be paid on January 14th, because this is where anxiety often builds, and people start to worry that something's wrong when really everything is perfectly fine. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th of the month, any month, your payment is scheduled for January 21st, not January 14th. That's 1 week later. Your payment isn't delayed. It's not late. It's simply on a different schedule based on your birth date. If you were born between the 21st and the 31st of the month, your payment is scheduled for January 28th, not January 14th. Again, this isn't a delay or a problem. It's the normal expected schedule for people born in the last third of the month. If you started receiving Social Security benefits before May of 1997, it doesn't matter when you were born. Your payment was scheduled for January 3rd, and it should have already arrived. The January 14th, 21st, and 28th dates don't apply to you at all. You're on the older payment schedule that predates the birth date system. And if you receive both Social Security and Supplemental Security Income, SSI, your Social Security payment was also scheduled for January 3rd for the same reason. You're paid early in the month to coordinate with your SSI payment. All of these dates are correct. All of them are normal, expected, and exactly as they should be. None of them mean you're being delayed, overlooked, penalized, or treated differently than anyone else. You're simply in a different payment group based on factors that were established years ago. If your expected payment date arrives and you truly don't see your deposit, here's what you should do. I want to walk you through this step by step so you know exactly how to handle it calmly and effectively. The very first step is to pause, take a breath, and carefully double-check your payment schedule. Go back through the information we just covered. When were you born? What day of the month? And when did you start receiving benefits before or after May 1997? Many people, and I mean many, realize at this point that they were waiting for the wrong Wednesday. They thought their payment was supposed to come on the 14th, but actually, based on their birth date, it's scheduled for the 21st or 28th. This simple mistake accounts for a huge percentage of missing payment concerns. The second step is to carefully and thoroughly review your bank account. Sometimes deposits appear under slightly different descriptions than you're used to. Instead of saying Social Security or SSA, it might say Treasury, U.S. Treasury, or use an abbreviation you don't recognize. Also check the date. Sometimes payments post a day early or late depending on your bank's processing schedule, especially around weekends or holidays. A payment scheduled for Wednesday might appear Tuesday evening or Thursday morning. If you still don't see anything after checking carefully, it's usually recommended to wait up to 3 business days beyond your expected payment date before taking further action. Processing delays can happen, especially around the start of a new year when systems are dealing with high volumes, new tax years, and various updates. In the vast majority of cases, the payment appears within that 3-day window. The delay is temporary, usually related to banking processing rather than anything wrong with Social Security itself. Only after you've checked your schedule, reviewed your account carefully, and waited 3 business days should you consider contacting Social Security. You can call the main Social Security number at 1-800-772-1213, or you can contact your local Social Security office. When people do reach out, the issue is often something simple and easily resolved. Maybe there was a recent change to your bank account that didn't process correctly. Maybe there's a temporary hold because of an address update. Maybe there's a small administrative issue that can be fixed with a single phone call. Very rarely is there a serious problem or a missing payment that can't be tracked down and corrected. The system is quite reliable, and when issues do occur, they're usually resolved quickly. Now let's take a moment to clear away a few common myths, because misinformation spreads quickly during times like this, especially online and through word of mouth. People hear something, assume it's true, share it with others, and before long, everyone's worried about something that isn't real. One very common myth is that people who are paid earlier in the month, especially on January 14th, are getting more money than people paid later. That's simply not true. Payment timing has absolutely nothing to do with benefit size. Everyone gets the same percentage COLA increase. The date your payment arrives is about scheduling, not about how much you receive. Another myth is that you need to apply for the COLA, call Social Security to request it, fill out a form, or take some kind of action to receive the increase. You don't. The COLA is completely automatic. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, the increase is applied to your payment automatically. You don't need to do anything at all. There's also talk online, especially in comment sections and social media groups, about bonuses, extra checks, stimulus payments, or special one-time payments connected to January Social Security deposits. Let me be very clear. There is no bonus. There is no stimulus payment tied to these deposits. There is no extra check beyond your regular monthly benefit plus the COLA increase. Any message, article, or video claiming you're entitled to extra money, a special payment, or a bonus should be treated with extreme caution. These are often scams designed to get your personal information or trick you into clicking on malicious links. Speaking of scams, this is important enough to emphasize. Scammers often take advantage of confusion around benefit changes, payment dates, and increases. They know people are paying attention to their accounts right now, and they try to exploit that attention. Social Security will never call, text, or email you out of the blue asking for personal information, bank details, your Social Security number, or account passwords. They will never threaten to suspend your benefits unless you take immediate action. They will never ask you to pay a fee to receive your increase or payment. If something feels off, if a message seems urgent or too good to be true, trust that instinct. Don't click on links. Don't provide information. Don't call phone numbers provided in suspicious messages. Instead, go directly to ssa.gov or call the official Social Security number to verify any information. Your financial security depends not just on receiving your benefits, but on protecting them from theft and fraud. Let's bring everything together now and summarize clearly so you can move forward with confidence and peace of mind. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of the month and started receiving benefits after May 1997, your payment is scheduled for January 14th. That's the second Wednesday of the month. You should see your deposit arrive on or very close to that date. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th of the month and started benefits after May 1997, your payment is scheduled for January 21st. That's the third Wednesday. Your payment will arrive then exactly on schedule. If you were born between the 21st and the 31st of the month and started benefits after May 1997, your payment is scheduled for January 28th. That's the fourth Wednesday of the month, and that's when your deposit will arrive. If you started receiving benefits before May 1997, or if you receive both Social Security and SSI, your payment arrived on January 3rd. It's already in your account, and the later dates don't apply to you. Your January check is slightly higher than last month because of the 2.5% cost of living adjustment. That increase is automatic. You didn't need to apply for it. You didn't need to request it. It was calculated and applied to your benefit without any action on your part. Medicare, Part B premiums, or other deductions may affect the net amount you see deposited in your account, and that's completely normal. It's the same process that happens every month. Nothing about this process is rushed, random, or unfair. Social Security follows the same dependable schedule it has used for many years. The system is designed to be reliable, and for the vast majority of people, it works exactly as intended, month after month, year after year. If you've ever felt that tight, anxious feeling in your chest while waiting for a deposit, wondering if it's coming, worrying that something might be wrong, I truly hope this explanation has helped ease it. I hope you can take a deep breath now and feel that weight lift. You're not behind, you're not missing out, you haven't done anything wrong, and your payment is arriving exactly when it's supposed to, based on a schedule that's been in place for years. Sometimes the most helpful thing we can do, especially when we're feeling uncertain or worried, is to slow down, take a breath, and trust a system that has been quietly working month after month for decades. Social Security has been paying benefits reliably since 1935. Millions of payments go out every month without issue. The system works. You've worked hard your entire life for these benefits. You've paid into the system for years, maybe decades. You've earned every dollar that comes to you, and you deserve clarity, calm, and peace of mind when it comes to understanding how and when you'll receive what you've earned. Right now, in this moment, everything is moving just the way it should. Your payment is on its way, scheduled according to clear rules, processed by systems that have handled millions of payments successfully. You can trust that. And if you ever have questions in the future, if something changes or feels uncertain, remember that information is available. You can always visit ssa.gov, call the Social Security Administration, or reach out to trusted sources for clear, accurate answers. You don't have to navigate this alone, and you don't have to rely on rumors or confusing information. You've got this. Your payment is on track, and you can move forward with confidence.